I needed to do something very quickly. I thought I'll incorporate a little bit of tech. Take out your phones because you're already having an illicit affair with them during a conference. So if you just take out your phones right now, you can just scan that QR code. It doesn't take any of your data, nothing at all. It's just so that I can get a little bit of opinions from you all during the course of a conference. I've done this, I've been doing most of this for about 25 odd years. So I started when your parents were listening to radio and listening to romantic songs that were conceptualizing you. So I have age and experience on my side. But more than that, the more exciting thing actually is that really tech today can do so much, and I wanted to just share this with you all. Just as a small disclosure, StreamAlive is a company that I'm an investor in as well, but it's because it's an absolutely wonderful company run by a guy called Lux Narayanan, who's one of the few Indians on TED. If you hear his talk, it's one of the best talks I've heard. Lux is also the earlier founder of a company called Unmetric, which is one of the best companies to sort of evaluate influence, etc. online. But I'm Roshan. I've been part of I knew that they'd only talk of Encompass, so I said I must mention the others. So Kommune is what I really love. That's my heart and soul. It's an art platform. Encompass was one of India's biggest event agencies. We and Viscraft were neck and neck, and then finally we sold to WPP. Glitch is considered to be amongst India's top 3 digital agencies. I invested in this in 2011 after I made a disastrous movie. And I had no money left to do the titles, and 2 boys helped me. Movie wasn't so disastrous, actually. It was fun. But it was one of those small budget films in 2011 where 7 films came out on the same day, and there are never enough screens. We thankfully recovered money for our producer, it was called Always Kabhi Kabhi. It was on a play that I'd written in Delhi called Graffiti. I've done all kinds of things. So my producer was Shah Rukh Khan, which was fun. And I got to spend 2 years convincing him and him convincing me, which was the best part I'd had. Chatterbox is an influencer marketing agency. We sold it to, who did we sell it to? QU is a company. They wanted to become the youth marketing partners in India. And Rap is my production house. We are currently making a show for Amazon, which will, it's a fiction show that starts in November in terms of shoot. So I do all of that. I'm most proud of my 3 kids. And my 4th born is this, which is Spoken. I'm not going to show you the film right now, but you must have a look at it. If you haven't been to Spoken Fest, please come. It's on the 2nd and 3rd of February next year. Please definitely come. It'll change your life. I can assure you that, that's something that I've already always believed in. I was supposed to speak on leadership and management. The question Savita threw at me was just like, I was like, what aspect of it? And I called her last night also to say, what? I was very confused. I love talking to people, so I actually reached out on my LinkedIn and spoke to a bunch of people, but this is for you. So if you actually look at the present thing on your, can you see that? Is that working for you? Yeah? Yeah, so you just need to enter an answer for this question, which is here. What's one challenge you currently face at work? So what's one challenge that you currently face at work? If you can answer that. These answers are coming in there. I'll share these with you all later because I just need to get your views on what you all are saying. I spoke to a bunch of people who I worked with through my life. Babita Barua is the CEO of VML, great agency. Diageo is a company I do a lot of work with. The only 2 sponsors you normally end up getting are Alcobev or digital agencies. So we do a lot of work with them. And my question to them was simply this, saying between leadership and management, what's the difference that you find? Tarun Rai was the ex-head of JWT. Dipali Nair was earlier at IBM, now is at CK Birla. And Anshulika is a really fun entrepreneur who's making a digital film platform where people come and pitch their scripts and do stuff together. Nikita works with us on Sprite for Coca-Cola because I still do some work with all of these people. But, the one thing which Tarun said, and I think I'll share the presentation with you all later, you can have a look. He says, the difference between managing and leading is inspiration. Leading teams to do better than even they didn't think they could, and otherwise you manage processes, you manage people. And as entrepreneurs, you will go through this flux in life. There will be times you'll lead, there'll be times you'll manage. Don't think that you don't have to do both. You definitely do need to end up doing both very, very often. Again, just another question, because I just want to get to know what's on your mind. What, according to you, are the key characteristics of a leader in your line of work? What do you think? And you can answer multiple things as well. What are the characteristics that a leader should have? Vision, great, perfect. You can even say it while you're typing it. Some of you say it also, it'll be good. Somebody said vision. It's not a quiz, so it's not that she won. You can have many other answers. What? Compassion, okay? Right? What are the key characteristics of a leader that you feel? Vision, compassion, resilience, yeah. Many of these things I think are important. Tom Peters was one of the old guys who used to talk on management in my days, and he had a line which said, "A leader is a dealer in hope. You're always dealing hope." I worked with Meera Nair on Monsoon Wedding in Qatar of all places, and she went through 100 crises to get the play up. And on the day before the show, I asked her, I said, "Meera, what keeps you going?" And she says, "Heart of a poet, hide of a rhino." I think that's the best summation that I can think of an entrepreneur. You must have the heart of a poet, the sensitivity, the creativity, the joy of what you do, but you must have the hide of a rhino. There are times you just got to take shit. It just happens. Number one, make a game plan. I get so many people pitching me ideas. Then I turn and say, "So what's the plan?" And they don't have a plan. "I want to do something like this." No, what do you want to do? Who do you want to reach? I have a friend, Rajesh Soni, who heads an investment fund called GSF, which I'm a part of. He just asked 3 questions. What's your idea? How big is your idea? Right? So, what's the core idea? How big is your idea? Why are you the right person to do it? Do you have the team for it? Right? So, it's just very simple. Most investors are asking you just these 3 questions. What's the idea? How big is the idea? What's the scale behind it? Do you have the team? Are you the right person to do it? That's all they want to know. After that, it's just a conversation of getting to know you better. Are you the right person? So make your game plan. No 2 companies are ever going to be alike. Dream your dream and find the doers. I've had people who've come to sell. I promise you, in Delhi, there was a guy who came to my office to convince me to buy something. By the end of the meeting, he was working for me. Because I just said, "This guy is a hustler. I need this hustler. He's a bigger hustler than I am." I got the guy, and he said, after about 10 years, he says, "Yaar, Roshan sapna itna bada bech deta na ki phir kharidna pad jata hai." You must be able to sell that idea. You must believe passionately in what you do. I'm saying this also because, I know that the same thing happens with directors, people when they're on set. It was possibly said by Quentin Tarantino saying, when you come to my set, you worship at my altar. He's a little too extreme, but I just like the fact that somewhere he said that, I'm God at that moment. I'm going to convince you of what that is. So find the doers, as it was. Look where no one else is looking. The work you're trying to create will most probably, if it's something new, not have people already who've done it. You've got to bring them together. You've got to find those people. I have found people at all these locations. I promise you, I found business opportunities from families, friends, theatre colleagues. I have hired people at a panwala. There was one Vela guy standing there, but he was talking really fun. I stood next to him. Another friend of mine stood next to him. I said, "Yaar, ye jugadu bahut hai." Right? And he suddenly turns out, "My dad's a Delhi High Court judge." I said, "Kaam to zarur aayega." We hired him. He saved me a lot of money in permissions across shows. Right? I had a boy who landed up, unfortunately passed away in my line of work. Many people have a huge issue of alcohol abuse in events because, they love it, they enjoy it, they do all of this. But this boy came from Lucknow and he had a letter from my ex-theatre director. And I asked him, I said, "Tumhe kya aata hai?" He said, "Kuch nahi aata." I said, "Ye to bada acha qualification hai." Right? Kuch nahi aata. He's like, "Lekin sab seekh lunga." That boy, I promise you, Ajay Mishra, he did everything. He did, like being a Lucknowite like me, everything he did had 2 stories in it, but he did it. If I had to send a parcel, he did it. Which had to go abroad within 24 hours, he did it. If I had to go and convince a space like this to give it to us for free, he did it. If I had to convince an artist to work for less, he did it. He didn't know any of it. But you will not find, people are not cookie cutters. You don't find them on LinkedIn all the time. LinkedIn resumes do not work, according to me. If you want to have people work for you, get them to work for you for 15 days for free. Everybody's happy to work for 15 days for free. That's not an issue. And if you tell them you'll pay them, it's fine. Tell them you'll pay them. But tell them, are you willing to take that extra leap? Will you take that leap? And you'll find the right people. I think 80% of my people who work with me have never seen a resume. I just want to know, do they have it in them? Can they do it? Is that what's important? Feedback is everything. If you don't give feedback to your people, it's nothing. Earlier, there used to be annual appraisals. It's gone. You need to do weekly appraisals, monthly appraisals, quarterly appraisals. What was said before that at the end of this event, do a post-mortem, right? I was taught something different by another friend who said, do a pre-mortem. He says, think of if this event didn't happen, what are the reasons it couldn't happen, and do a pre-mortem. But give feedback to people. Feedback is the breakfast of champions. Reward people in public. Reprimand in private. A great leader stands in front when there's criticism from someone outside, stands at the back when there is praise. I think I've just been very comfortable. I'm not envious. I'm not jealous. I don't have an ego. So I've always let other people take the credit, and they flourish. They thrive in that. I've also had a time when we've done the 8th IPL, it's rained out, Hrithik Roshan is dancing in the rain, slipping, Shahid Kapoor's bike is slipping, Preetham is screaming at me backstage, Anushka Sharma says, Virat Kohli's name has come up with me. They were not married at that time. I'm like, yaar, hone wala hai, kyun jhoot bol rahe ho? But you can't. At that moment, it's like, I'm not going to perform, all this is going on. You just got to handle it. You're handling it, you're standing in front. It was the headline in Bombay Times done by, unfortunately, some people. And, in every business, there's somebody who doesn't love you. So somebody put out one headline saying, worst ever IPL opening ceremony. I couldn't live it down. It was a horrible, horrible feeling to have that. But in my heart, I made up the thing saying, we will do it again and we will do it better. And 2 years later, at the 10th IPL opening ceremony, we won the pitch. And then suddenly they said that, we don't know whether to congratulate you or commiserate you. I said, why? And they said, because you've got to do it in 8 cities, not 1. They wanted to do an opening ceremony in every city where there was an event happening. And my team size was the same. But when you get your team together and rally them to say, boss, 2 saal pehle lagi diya hai. Everyone remember? Yeah. I said, ab ki se nahi hoga. And there was this girl, Chanda Singh, who led my team. Brilliant, brilliant girl, runs her own agency now. And she just turned and said, nahi hoga. And we got everyone. We got A.R. Rahman's manager because he was a friend saying, tu aja. Everybody we knew, we just rallied them and made them believe in the cause. We did 8 flawless events. There is a line in the contract of the IPL which says, if they find a nail on the playing field at the end of the event, and the event happens just before a match, right? You are liable for a huge penalty, because if a cricketer gets injured, hey, forget that dancing stuff that was happening in the beginning. The match has not been played, right? How do you solve for that? You have metal detectors. You get metal detectors and run over the field. That is what you do. You go to that degree of minutiae to make things happen. So do what you can. The best learning I can ever give you as a leader, make yourself redundant. I've run 5 companies. People are like, how do you do it? I still run 30 things at the same time. I make myself redundant. I hire my own replacement. Can you hire your own replacement? Most people are so scared. They'll be, I can't. Arey yaar, meri naukri chali jayegi. Nahi, kyun jayegi? You'll learn something more. You'll do better. That's what you can possibly do. So make yourself redundant so that you can be free to look for the next discovery. Right? It was said by David Ogilvy, that if you stand on the shoulder of giants, you'll be able to see a different horizon that no one's ever seen. So can you possibly do that? So try and do that if you can. We love stories, right? Everyone has told you some form of a story. Shani is going to possibly tell you a lovely story of everything she's done. But the whole idea is that, do you have your myths and your legends? Can I make you believe in the story of an Ajay Mishra, Chanda Singh, a so-and-so in this much time, right? That's when you do. Believe in your own legends. Every company has got somebody who's done something great, made something happen. Before we do our festival Spoken, there are 200 volunteers who come. And for half an hour, I just tell them stories. As you know, when the first Spoken happened, I invested my kids' education money into it because I believed in the program. And I said, when you come in here, please do not end up taking selfies with all the artists, and everybody smiles because all the kids want to do it. But I've already put it out there saying, don't do that. Let them feel safe. They will give you the selfie. And all of this happens, and I can't tell you, all these stories go to make our festival, and it's unique. You need stories. Stories pass on culture. Culture is built on stories. In your company, however small, there are at least 4 stories. How you started, how you failed, what was your turning point, what's your success. And failure stories are far more authentic. The generation of people under the age of 30 have heard so much bullshit that they only want authenticity. So do not bullshit, right? It's ridiculous. There's so much. When you see an ad, it looks like an ad. Why would anybody want to watch it, right? Why do smart influencers fit narratives where they just talk, oh, मेरे घर में गत्थी गाड़ी चला रही थी, बड़ी अच्छी वरना थी, बोल दिया, निकल गया. But you know, they feed those stories in between, but they're authentic. Tell authentic stories, don't tell lies. Doesn't work. Celebrate success and failure. Celebrate it. Put people together. We had, you know, at Encompass in the 7th year, we created somebody called a CFO. What's a CFO? Chief Fun Officer. We created a Chief Fun Officer. Their target was to make sure everybody had fun. When somebody finished an event, they got the next day off. One day I walked into office, people were looking very unhappy. I went to the next place, which had just opened a Thai massage place. I went to them, 50% discount doge? Haan, sabko massage dene ho. And the office was filled with people getting a massage. Everybody told their friends about it. It made us a great place to work. Right? Just don't forget, people need to celebrate. They need to work together in so many ways. Fail fast and learn. I have the terrible habit which somebody said about, you know, earlier, that the beautiful thing about the founder bias, that the founder will say someone and everybody will say, Papa, ab to karna hi padega, right? It happens. I'm so excited by ideas. I have 100 new ideas. I've already had an idea. Oh, I could do this here in this venue. I've already sent it to a friend with a picture. Yes, we'll do a musical concert. People will hang from the shit, all kinds of rubbish. But fail fast. Fail fast. I have a girl called Dipti Bansal, who's my CEO at Kommune. She's the one person who I've hired because she says no to me on everything. Ye ho jayega? No. Budget itna hai? No. You know, where's it on paper? You need that person. You need a strong person to say no to you because most entrepreneurs are so driven by what they do. What about the other person? Okay. Hire really slow, fire fast. Fire really fast. I hired a guy, he pursued us for 3 months. He came on board first week, he said, sir, I've got TMT Saria, they will be the sponsor of Spoken. I said, buddy, nah, that's not our ethos. And I said, we've screwed up, we've not experienced. Next day he said, no, sir, I figured it out, Pan Parag. I said, ab to tu ghar chala jaya yaar. You know, because we are not that festival. We are a very, very, you know, we're very, very conscious festival. We do a lot of stuff. The biggest disservice you do to a team is when you keep dead weight inside your office. If there's somebody who's not good, the person who's good feels like shit because they're like, I am doing all the work. Why is that person sitting and doing nothing? Do this thing. It's very important. Get rid of dead weight. You do them a favor. There was a guy who after 5 years we didn't promote. He was like, why haven't you promoted me? And this was in my early days of work. And I was like, because you're not doing well. Why didn't you tell me before? Because you're being nice. Reed Hastings said in an interview, I don't run a family, I run a company. I think I run a family-like business, but if you can, be honest, be straight. I'm sometimes very difficult for me. I put other people in front of me saying, "Tum kar do, main nahi karunga." I'm not that person. Very last question, what are your values? What are the values that your company has? Have you got your value set? Do you know what it is? It's very important to know what your values are. By the way, ideally, all of these results should be popping up here, but I think it's not syncing back at the moment, but I will share it with you. It's really amazing to get to see what everyone is saying. So tech fail at the moment, but it's nobody's fault. It's just, I think the system's being glitchy at my end. Come on, 30 people have answered. What about the rest? Just name your values, any values that you have at your work. Okay, these are my values. Some of them might be values, some of them might be beliefs. The first one is what Winston Churchill said. Not a very great person to have said it, but he said a great thing. If you're going through hell, keep going. I don't stop. I'm relentless. If I'm doing a project as a leader, ab ठान लिया तो करना है तो करना है. कुछ नहीं होता. Sometimes you just need belief. You just need that belief. You know, when we took over Geo Garden, said, कौन आएगा? I said, आ जाएंगे. Don't worry. आएंगे. And then find a way. Richard Branson's line, screw it, let's do it. He used to go into a room and say, yeah, ho jayega. Then you'd go outside and figure, kaise hoga? Sometimes you do that in business. Stay curious. I am the most curious person in this planet. I need to know everything. What you did, how you did, what you ate, where you go, what's the place, what's your music. Steve Jobs used to go on walks with people and see their playlist thing. That tells me more about you than anything else. What you listen to. That's what you used to enjoy doing. Embrace bold risks. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Right? Naya karo. Naya rasta dhoondho. Main hamesha naya rasta dhoondta hu. I promise you, I love doing new things. Give freely. Give freely of your time, of your advice, but give it to the right set of people. I get a lot of people who come to me with questions, etc. I answer most everything. Online, offline, email, personal meeting, whatever. If I smell in a second that this has got a hidden agenda part 2, you're out. Because I don't have that kind of time. So I choose to give, but I also choose to be a little more careful in what I'm giving. Be authentically you, everyone else is taken. Don't try to be someone else. 25 years ago, I used to host a show in Delhi, and a lady in IIT, the fashion editor of Bombay Times, turned and said, Roshan is the best host. I wish he dressed accordingly. I've never cared a damn. That's me. That's me. I swear, I thought 3 times saying, I haven't shaved because I'm preparing for something which I'm doing. And I was like, shit, but I must shave, they'll feel bad. And I was like, Arey yaar, yahi to hai, kya kare hain? That's who I am. Have a moral compass. We have a shifting moral compass. We nowadays pick and choose our morals. The last 10 years, unfortunately, have allowed us to say, chalo yaar, thoda piche rakh dete hain. Country to bahut achhi chal rahi hai. Paise to ban rahe hain. But we've really, really not had a moral compass, and that's been a big problem. And sometimes I have Ankur Tiwari and Gaurav Kapoor as my 2 partners at Kommune. Ankur Tiwari is my moral compass. He is the voice of independent music. I was excited. I said, Abhi bhi excited. Oh, we'll do a singing song with karaoke in a bathtub. He looked at me and said, fuck off. I said, but so many people give a chance to it. He said, that's not authentic music. I quietened down. So have somebody who's your moral compass, have a strong moral compass yourself. Last 2 things. Many people will tell you you're building a business to a valuation. It is not true. Don't build a valuation, guys. Build values. Apne aap valuation ban jata hai. Everyone's telling you how much you'll sell at 10x, 100x. All of you have been seduced by this idea because you read someone's autobiography or saw someone's post which said they made at the age of 27, 38 billion. And you're like, ek to banai lunga. Nahi hota. Nahi hota. I've done it. I've done it multiple times. Right? I have seen businesses go through hell. And I've also seen businesses become 200 crores and sell them, and 50 crores and sell them. It happens, but it doesn't happen when you don't start with that premise. I will be rich. No, you don't need more than 30, 50 grand a month to live, I assure you. Ghar agar hai. Ghar nahi to dhoond lenge. India mein bahut jagah. Culture before commerce. I always say, culture before commerce. What's the culture? Any place you go, I'm very proud. Any organization I've been a part of, people will go and say, culture bahut acha tha. There were years we were great. There were years we were number 1. There were years we were number 2. But culture was always great. Results are your best resume. That's why I say, when you work with me and I've seen what you do in 15 days, I know how good you are. You can bullshit through a resume brilliantly. I did this. I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you one minute story. One guy came to my office and said, sir, we need somebody to work in activations. This guy is brilliant. He's worked on Surf Excel. He's worked on so and so. I said, Surf Excel ka kaun sa show kara tha? He says, oh, he did that when they launched the new event. Now, as luck would have it, I had hosted that event. So I called the guy and I said, so what work did you do on that event? Now he saw me and his face went white. And I said, what did you do? No, sir, I was working on the project. And I said, but what work did you do? He said, sir, मैं बाल्टी backstage से stage पर लाके उसमें मैंने कपड़े दुबोए थे. So I worked closely with the brand. That's what his resume said. Closely with this brand, right? He's not lying, but he's telling the truth in a different way. In life, most businesses start with spirit. They have to have systems. When you start a company, you will need Swiss knives. You will need people who know multiple things. As the company grows, you will need samurai swords. You will need people who know one thing really well. Right? So when it starts, it's everything together. When it grows, it becomes all of these things. But try and find the spirit. Spirit bhi chahiye, system bhi chahiye. Dono cheezein chahiye hoti hain to run something good at some level. Did you have a takeaway from the session? I don't know. I just wanted to know whether you had a takeaway. So if you had one takeaway from the session, what was it? That's me. That's my time, I guess, also. I tried to be as fast as I could. I'm so sorry if I took a little bit of your time extra. But if you can just type, if you had a takeaway, did you have a takeaway? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you want to get in touch with me, those are my handles. You just need to scan another card. That will take you to LinkedIn. That will take you to my website. That will take you to Instagram. I reply on most everything. I mean, the website takes a little more time, but it'll give you a little bit of what we do. Once again, if you like what we do, like what we did, please follow Community with a K. It's not named so because of Ekta Kapoor, but it's just a fun place to be. Yeah, you have? Please, you have to come, and you must be on a panel because we do some lovely conversations there as well. Again, these slides, this template is not mine. If you go to Google, there is also a resource where there are templates like these, which you never used because you never looked. So be curious. That's my last thing to you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. It was really, really a pleasure.